Yo, check this out. Sit down. The lesson begins now.
We are live on the mic. The crowd favorite, DJ Deuce, is in the building.
Yo, what's up, man? I'm your host, DJ Deuce. The guy next to me, my main man, my MC, James, a.k.a. Jam Easy. How you doing, James?
What's going on, everybody?
We got a guest today in the building, man. One of our local guys. We had to get him on. We met him about a month or so ago, man. Dante Augustus, man. How you doing, brother?
Doing great.
Man, we're happy to have you on, brother, man. We're happy to have you on, man.
I'm doing great, bro.
Yeah, man. Oh, what are you talking about? It's our pleasure, bro. It's our pleasure, bro. Like when we meet people, man. If for anyone that doesn't know, we met him at the Slick Rick concert about a month and a half ago.
Backstage.
It was in May, right?
Yeah.
Backstage, yeah. And you know what I mean. You're one of the class act guys that we've met. So that's why when I mentioned it to James about having you on, it was an easy decision. We're like, absolutely, man. We'd love to have you on. And
That's
you know
right.
what? Because you're such a class act guy. You're one of those guys we want to interview because we want to know more about you, man. You know what I mean? And I think everyone else would too.
That's right. And you know what? I want to expand on that. When Joe says class act guy, D, what he means is you approached us with a lot of respect, man. That goes a long way, especially for us older heads. You know what I mean? When we see a younger generation approach us with that kind of respect and the way you introduced yourself, man. When Joe told me he wanted to have you on the podcast, I was like, and I do this. I'm Joe's co-host, and I do this only sometimes. When he told me you were going to be on, I said, yeah, for sure. I'm going to be on for this one too. I want to talk to the D on there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Bro, I want to know from the beginning, man.
Bro,
Where were you? Well, go ahead,
sorry,
brother.
I don't mean to interrupt. I'm hearing now. My mic is having a
Oh, you're having
some
technical
issues.
difficulties.
Yes.
Don't worry. That's the best part about going live.
That's right.
Don't worry.
That's right. It shows authenticity, man.
Yeah, we don't like doing the edits. Well, let's be real. I don't want to spend that much time doing it. Don't worry, man. Dante, figure it out, man. We're live on the mic, man. I'd love to fix this stuff, but
Twice.
trust me.
It's strange.
So you hearing echoes, Dante, or are you not hearing us properly? Are you not hearing yourself?
Yes, I don't know. Yeah, it's very strange. I'm hearing everything. Very, very weird. One sec. Sorry, guys.
You know what I don't like about this StreamYard thing, though, James?
What's that?
Before we went live, everything sounded good.
That's right.
It happens all the time. No, that's a lie. It used to happen a lot. Back in the day, the iPhones had issues. The people that hopped on iPads and iPhones.
Yeah.
They fixed that issue. They did come a long way, but that's the thing that they fail to mention when they're advertising their brand, StreamYard.
Dante, maybe try turning down your volume a little bit, man. See if that helps.
Guys, this is James giving some computer advice here.
You know, you got to smoke one first, though. Usually that's
Jam Easy with some computer advice. That's some scary thoughts here. James, so I get my mom to try some tabbouleh today.
for the first
Never
time.
tried it before. Yeah, I was like, where have you been hiding? Like, I'm 100% sure I made it try. You think you're good now?
I think it's good.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, it should be good. I don't know exactly what. Yes, yeah, that's that was
better,
really
eh?
See,
Bro, you look good though, bro.
Me and James,
You look good, man.
me and James only like to do the computer punch. That's how we fix things. We don't press buttons, you know. Dante, do you have headphones anywhere?
Let me try the
Yeah.
headphones. It's strange. I'm hearing everything. I'm talking in minutes. Let's see.
Repeating what you're saying, probably.
Yeah, he's probably getting a delay.
So I can hear myself speaking right now, which is really
I can hear you.
strange.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the headphones. I can hear myself too. I see what punishment I put you guys through. Is that better at all, or?
No, that's okay, bro. I think it's good. Wait,
Yeah, I think headphones usually fix things. Usually.
I'm hearing myself right now in the headphones
Yeah.
from something I
Yeah.
said about like a minute.
Dante, listen. I'm gonna this is, I swear to God, this is podcast 101, bro. I'm gonna kick you off this thing,
Okay.
and then you re-enter it. Usually, let's try that. Okay, let's do it. That's
All right,
the only
Dante.
time you can sometimes. So James, so so I get my mom to to order some fucking tabbouleh, right?
Yeah.
And that's mouth-watering shit, right? You just you see it, you just want to get a spoon, bro. I grab a spoon. I swear to God, I thought I was in an episode of Oz. What I mean by that, there's like glass in there or something, bro. Shit was crunchy and shit.
What the?
Yeah, it was like I thought my tooth I'm like, what is this, man? It was super terrible.
Sorry about
Bro,
that, guys.
speaking of teeth,
Can you hear us now?
Yes, I don't know what was going on there, but
Is it way better now? We're good?
now it's good.
nice.
Sorry about that.
Dude, we
Apologies.
love this, man.
Man, no worries.
We love this. But what we were saying, Dante, was that, man, it was a true honor to meet you, man, at the Slick Rick concert. You know what I mean? You came in with full respect, and James mentioned the same thing. And when I asked him to have you on the show, without hesitation, James was like, absolutely, man, I want to be on. And that's when we picked today at 7 because James was available, which I love to have James on the show. He's like my co-host. But yeah, man, like, honestly, man, you came with full respect, and we'd love to, we wanted to interview you. We want to know you a little more about you, and I think so does everyone else,
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate that, and the truth is, when I had spoke to you guys at the Slick Rick show, I was just extremely honored to meet people that were so kind, and to have a sense of community here in our town. It's real special. So I really appreciate that also.
You know what won it for me that day though? It's when we broke him down to him the stuff that me and James used to do around 2004, 2005, and he turns around and goes, "Ah, man, I was watching Scooby Doo back then." You remember that line, right?
Yes.
So
Scooby-Doo.
yeah, exactly. Let's go before that, man. Where were you born and raised?
So I've lived in Ottawa my whole life. I was born here in Ottawa, and crazy enough, I've actually lived on the same street my entire life.
Holy shit! All right.
What part of Ottawa, man?
Stittsville.
Okay, west side.
You've seen that shit grow then over the years.
Yeah,
Sure.
it used to be just
Fields and
like
shit, right?
field, the
Yeah.
forest. They were, and now there's houses everywhere, and you know it's nice.
It's
got
grown.
nothing
That
to-
development is beautiful out there for sure, man. But like now, how was it? Now, how was it growing up there? How were you at school? Were you a good student? Did you get into trouble at all? Be honest.
So I my grades were never like, I never got good grades, but the one thing I tried to focus on school was just being true and being honest. I didn't need to think like above it, anybody else. But school for me was always good. It was great to meet cool people, to learn a bit, and I guess my favorite part of school was when we got to go like outside, and
Oh yeah,
it was it was great. It was
James and I, again, we went to the same high school. James and I, we went to the same elementary school. Now we actually think about it.
That's right. That's right,
Yeah.
man. St. Marguerite Juville. So, Dean, we were raised
shit.
in the south side. We were raised in the south side of Ottawa, and I was there pretty much my whole life. Joe, you too, no? Was it?
Yeah, I was there
south
when I
of
was
Ottawa
6.
Since
Yeah.
since we were kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Joe and I first met when I think I was in grade 3, Joe was in grade 4, or I was 4 and he was in grade 5.
So, yeah, I
we
think that's
were
what it-
kids.
that's what it
Yeah,
was.
we were kids, and from the south side, man. And see, Joe, Joe got really good grades throughout all the school. Teachers loved him, and
Wow.
He never ever caused any trouble, bro. He was the honor roll, and that was my influence throughout high school, man.
Wow. He's never fucking lied so much in 1 minute of a podcast in his life. Yeah, that was
love
but
that.
I'll edit that. You know that it's gonna go on there. I'll stick it on Instagram. You screwed up, bro. I'm gonna edit
I'm gonna make it look like it's all for real.
I'll send it to your mom too. Right?
Yeah, she's gonna know that's fucking bullshit. Bro. What are
Oh
you
my
talking
god,
about?
yeah, I know, man. It is. So, like, when did you were introduced? What was the first introduction to hip hop to you?
So it's just kind of a crazy story. You know, when I was real young, my main. Sorry, just give me 1 sec.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, no.
Let me just see how this sounds. Your boy is struggling over here. I think. Is that still okay? Is that?
It sounds fine on our part.
Perfect, yeah.
I was still hearing like a bit of an echo, but so when I was real young, I was really big into like old school, not necessarily hip hop. I listened to a lot of like Elvis.
Oh, okay. I love that.
You know, my parents grew up in the '60s, and they're big, you know.
Their superstar was Elvis, probably, right?
Yeah,
Growing
you know,
up,
exactly. So I grew up, and you know, everything I was hearing was always like Elvis, Tom Jones, and you know, I didn't get big into hip hop until I was probably in my last couple of years of like elementary school.
Okay, yeah.
So I was probably like 11, 10 or like 11, and you know, I started listening to Tupac and to Biggie Smalls and like a lot of Eminem and obviously like Wayne, and then it goes even back. Like I started to listen to Slick Rick, and you know, it's kind of like a moment that came like straight around because you know, I grew up and I had Slick Rick, you know, and then you know, I ended up being on stage and being like an opener for him, and that was extremely special.
Now, like when you were listening to music, so in high school, because you know you're much younger than us, so the internet's still around at this point, right? Like, see, the thing is, for me, I don't know what James's story was to be introduced to hip hop, but for me, I remembered we had like you know James, you know, like Criss Cross or something, that little poppy hip hop stuff. But like when you first time I ever heard gangster rap was actually a Biggie album at my buddy's house when his big brother played it. You know what I mean? Wow. And I was like, what the hell is this? And then he drops the Snoop Dogg Doggy Style. And you're like, this is insane. Like your head's about to explode, right? Then you listen to the Chronic album. And this is what I got. Those are the three first albums I get introduced to hip hop. So then you're like, yo, this shit's dope. Now we have no internet access to the point of history. Then Ice Cube comes out and Eazy-E comes out, and then you found out that they were in a group even before then. That's when your head's about to explode. You're like, you mean these three were in a group before this? Like we had no access. Like, and being in Canada, like we got stuff a lot later. Like, don't even like, you know, we had this thing. What was it? Much Music. Was it Rap City, James?
Rap City. That's right, man. With Master T as one of the hosts. That's
and
right.
And you would have 30 minutes of your hip hop research per day of homework
with
to do.
With your VCR ready to hit record, man, to get that one video that you're dying to see all the time.
But James, what introduced you to rap or hip hop at the time? What was your first introduction?
Awesome question. You know what? I'm gonna bounce back after this with a question for D. So I was grade 6, grade 6, threw a birthday party. It was cool. It was one of the first birthday parties. My mom let me invite a bunch of friends over, and it was, you know, I felt really cool doing it. And somebody that came by, his name was Ricardo. I still remember till now. He had an older brother, and Ricardo's older brother listened to gangster rap. So Ricardo bought me a tape. He bought me the Doggy Style album as a tape. And then I opened up a second gift that I got, and someone had bought me, and I forget the name of the album. I usually don't do that. The album that Warren G's Regulate track was on. I think the album was called Regulators, if I'm not mistaken. And those were the two albums that got me started. And I literally memorized every single track on the Doggy Style album. And that's what got me into the gangster rap. And ever since then, man, I got so many songs in this repertoire here. It's crazy. So D, the question I got for you is, what was the album? What was that first album that you had that was in your deck all the time, that you had songs memorized, that was, you know, the go-to album? Which artist?
Are you sure they had a deck when at his age?
Sorry, you know, it could be MP3 player. My bad, bro. You know.
No, I'd have to say probably somewhere around the lines of The Chronic.
Yeah.
The Chronic was definitely up there.
I love it's the G Funk in Dre. It's the production that's freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, and for me it was kind of like hearing the style of music was something that I had never really experienced.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember one time, guys, I was at my mom's aunt's house, rest in peace, and I went to the bathroom and I left my Walkman. For y'all who don't know what that is, we used to listen to music on things called cassettes. That was the portable device that you would listen to your music on. It's called the Walkman. And I left it there to go to the bathroom. I came back and I see the headphones on my mom's ears, and her fucking eyes are like this. And what song was I listening to? What's My Name, obviously. And it was around the part of throw your hands in the motherfucking air and wave the motherfuckers like you just don't care. And my mom's listening to this, bro. And if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, guys, I think she beat me with the Walkman. She beat me with the Walkman. I'm not joking, man.
Like my pops thought I was absolutely insane when I used to drop like you know what I mean. Listen, it was probably, you know, the Doggy Style album. He's like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, and you know, guys, for anyone, we brought this, we mentioned this backstage. I never smoked weed, so don't think it was influenced. It influenced me in any way, but there was a feel to it that I was like, I'm drawn to this shit. This is what I want to hear. This is what I love. Have a couple beers, you drop that in a club, man. I'm the happiest dude in the world. Like that's, I do love that. I really do enjoy it. But D, man, for you, my next question is, man. When did you start writing? Not even the studio part, just writing in general.
So I started to write right after high school, and you know, I feel like it took me so long to discover basically who I was, and that actually was a huge way for me to self-express.
Yeah.
And not just in terms of like a song, but in terms of being able to get the thoughts that I have out and be able to express them and to connect with, you know, everyone else. And so I wrote a few tracks, maybe 2018, like around there. And I would just write. And I didn't really, I never felt that those tracks that I had wrote were a good way to that reflected me.
Okay.
So I would say it took 3 to 4 years since after that. So probably 2022 when I started getting a better grasp on who I was, and the song started to reflect more of that, and that's what really made me love the ability to write and to tell stories, because I guess I would say like the man and the image are just homies, you know, that they're friends, and you know, certain people would say, well, why do you talk about these certain things in your songs if that's not truly who you are? And for the longest time, I couldn't even answer because I had no idea who. So it started to connect with me once the stories I was saying were actually, when I looked in the mirror, I actually understood who I saw, and that made me really have a better appreciation for the art of being able to tell a story. And
now, go ahead, James.
Sorry, Joe. Do you feel, D, when you write, so do you feel still till now, do you feel that it's therapeutic?
Oh yes, it's what I do every day I try to write a track a day, and it might only be like an idea.
Yeah.
But it definitely gives me the mental strength, I guess, to kind of have some peace and clarity in the sense that it teaches me things about who I am that maybe I didn't know previously.
Interesting. I like that. I
Nice.
find that this podcast is my therapy.
Yeah,
Sometimes when I go on with some of the guys, I express myself a little too much, and then.
I don't think it's too much, Joe.
But we all have a different type of therapy. I like that question, James. Though.
Yeah.
Now, you find now I want to talk about, so the first day you've walked into a music studio, was it a bit intimidating? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because we've all been in I don't know, James, I don't know if you ever recorded, but we both owned a music studio at one point. So even like watching things getting done was intimidating because you have no idea what's going on here, and you're leaving it all in someone's hands with a mouse and a laptop and the computer and stuff.
Bro, even bringing Rise to the studio, I
Yes.
found intimidating, man. I found bringing other artists there, being there with them.
Because James and I pretty much managed a few artists back when we all got together. Like we were always friends, we were always boys, but that 600 Entertainment came in together. I don't even know what happened. I was throwing a show somewhere. You had Misha at one place, and they were like, "Fuck it, we should work together." That's how it started, pretty much, right?
That's right.
And then 600 Entertainment got formed, and that's when we went on. So we used to take the guys to the studio. So for us, like we weren't even recording, and it's intimidating. So how was that feeling for you, man?
I still remember the first day that I recorded a real song, and it was May 11th of 2021. And
I wish I knew dates. I don't know any dates for it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was just, it was one of those days where it showed me that how much I loved it, and but it was also like I drove to the studio, and when I got there, I was actually like sick. I got sick because I was like really, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I was also I was new as an artist, of course, but I also feel like I hadn't seen so much of the world as I would have wanted to. I believe that everybody was good, and that there's always, so much love. And when I started seeing certain things in life, and as I got older, it was moments like that first moment, it was great. But I just realized how much I had to learn still, not just in the form of like our art, but in the form of life. And that was one of those days where I couldn't forget it, because it set me up for each moment to follow, whether it was going to record a song or it was, having conversations with people that showed me things that I was aware of. And I can't blame others for my for what they had brought to me in life, but I try to realize that everyone's on their first life. It's just like a journey, and everybody's just trying, and who am I to judge? So
Now, did you go to a recording studio, or was this done at home? Or
I did. I went to a recording studio. The studio was great. The people I recorded with were great. They actually walked me through the steps on, what I'm supposed to do,
of course,
how the demo is supposed to, to start off. And, it was amazing. It was, the whole vibe was really great. I felt at ease. But I look back now and I realize I was kind of just I was a young man with a dream.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't have any of the knowledge or the tools.
It needs to start somewhere, brother. It needs to start somewhere.
That was your milestone, bro. That was your milestone, man.
We could think about everything. Me and James knew nothing about anything, actually. We think about it.
No.
If I told you some of the promotional things we did, and we didn't, we misunderstood terms of what they meant by, and whatever, we screwed up a lot of things. But I remember my funniest moment in a music studio was, again, I don't know what year, but someone will tell me what year it is after I tell you the story. So we walk into Fat Dog Productions on Hunt Club Road. Damn. And we walk in, and Rise is about to record, and all of a sudden the power goes, boom, shuts down, right? And you're like, fuck. So I'm getting mad at the guy because they have like 1,000 pieces of equipment plugged in. I'm like, yo, go flick a breaker, buddy. Like, I'm getting mad at him, like fucking $80 an hour. Like, get on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Flick a breaker, bro. And he's like, it's not a breaker. I'm like, it's got to be a breaker. I'm like, you know what? Call me. Here's my number. Call me when you get your shit together. I'm going to go next door and have a beer. So we walk over to the Royal Oak next door, and they don't have any power. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on now? You know what I mean? So we drive to Rise's mom down the street, and she has no power. And we turn on the radio, and that's when we had that blackout. The
AC, they blamed it on the ACs in New York taking all of our juice.
Well, I'm blaming it on the studio. I'm like, turn on that breaker. I gave the guy shit. It has nothing to do with the breaker. It has nothing to do with him. And I'm like, so I felt a bit like a jerk. But yeah, no, I remember being like, that always sticks in my mind. I was like, damn, man. Like, because everyone knows, like 9/11 or stuff like that. You know where you are. So during this blackout, I was in the music studio. You know what I mean? Just about to record. And I think it was Rise's first time in there, if I'm right. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was.
And that was an intimidating studio, man. I bet your studio like that, Joe, would be close to $200 an hour today, man.
Yes.
$80 an hour back then, or at 150, man, at least.
Yeah.
At least. A studio like that.
Now,
There was a board. Sorry, Joe. Just real quick, I want to touch on that. There was a board there that was what, Joe? 8 feet long, 9 feet long, maybe.
Are you talking about that one or Distortion Studios?
No, Distortion was like
was even bigger. Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, you know what, Fat Dog, you're right. It was maybe like 4 feet long. My bad. Yeah. Was 4 feet. It was Distortion. The board was like fucking
Distortion
10
had
feet.
the biggest studio. Distortion Studios in Ottawa was Alanis Morissette recorded her first album there. Right. That's what it was. Distortion Studios was known for. Fat Dogs just had the coolest, the peak in their booth. Remember, it was a nice high ceiling and stuff. It was really, really dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, recording, man. Music studios were just. But how was it? I gotta ask you this now. Like, again, we might sound old by saying this. Did they give your music on a thumb drive or a CD? And whatever they gave it to you, like, how cool was it listening to yourself after you were done recording?
In the car, man.
Yeah. So I basically got the track sent like straight to my my phone.
Such a different time, James.
You tried though, thumbnail, bro. You tried. You tried.
And, that makes sense.
It was great. We just went as soon as I got in the car. I must have listened to it 100 times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. We've done that so many times. At
least 100.
And then, how good did it feel, D, the first time you felt somebody else bumping your track?
That's a feeling that's very special. For me, my friends and my family, they definitely have a appreciation for my tracks. But the first few songs that I showed to like others that actually were like, oh, you know what, this is not bad. For me, like a not bad was this is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Enough to get someone to listen to it. Man.
Now, talking about this isn't bad or asking someone else, do you have a boy or a team that actually would criticize you or see? Because our team was vicious. Like me and James, we'd be vicious guys. Like, is it true?
DJ Deuce was fucking brutal, bro, but a good brutal, and it actually put a lot of people in check and rearranged their skill to make them better people.
Now, do you have someone like that on your team?
I don't actually. My team is very small. I do have people that will tell me their ideas and that they'll hold me like accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's great.
Constructive criticism, man, is always amazing no matter what you do in life.
Yes, yeah, that I feel completely. But I also realize that I'm my biggest critic,
Oh, yeah. I feel that.
So
I'm the same way.
If I say one thing to myself, it's going to be a lot harder than what like another guy is going to say to me.
Oh, for sure. No, it's true. It's true. A lot of people will come with compliments, you know, that they think that it's going to be the ego booster or the good thing or the nice thing to say. But like, you're right. Sometimes even when I began this podcast, the journey, me and James talked about it before. Like, bro, like would listen to it and criticize the shit out of myself, right?
Yeah.
Like a sound, the lighting, this, that. Why'd I say this? Why'd I cut that guy off? Like I used to be brutal, right? So you have to criticize yourself. But I remember being on stage. I don't know what happened one time because James over here was supposed to be Rise's hype man, and I don't know how I got dragged into it to be the hype man on stage. Was this like what master plan was this, James? Do you remember this at all? No.
I don't, man.
Okay. Because you probably got too drunk or something stupid probably happened. But I remember going on stage, and I remembered back then it was Cosmos in Hall. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay, Cosmos Hall, and they actually had a camera facing the stage, and they would give you a VHS tape after. And that was the first time I was like, wow, I fucking suck on stage. Like I was like, it was the first, I needed that tape to be like, what are you do? Dude, I would literally hype band his shit, and then I would watch Buddy perform, and then I'd hype band his shit, and instead of performing the crowd, I would always and that tape changed my whole live performance. It was to the point now where if we're on stage, like Import Night or something, he'd be over there, I'd be over here, I'd be doing my own thing. Like it took one tape. If I never saw that tape, I would have been making the same mistakes over and over again.
Yeah.
Now, today's day and age, you guys have camera phones and fucking you go on this guy's Instagram, the guy's like the clearest pictures I've ever seen. Back in our day, we looked like fucking, what is it? Those Minecraft characters, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man.
You move too fast, everyone's pixelated and shit.
Yeah.
But the thing is, always master your craft. That's my opinion. It's just keep looking, keep watching. What could you have changed from one show? I used to tell people, don't deny a live show. A live show, regardless if there's one or thousands of people in there, it's always practice for that big stage one day. It's always, you can't deny it. As a DJ, I do the same. When you first get started, man, you have to do everything. Because there's going to be a big stage where you're going to be like, oh shit, I'm not ready. And no one wants to be in that situation. You need to be ready. Take every show you can. Master your craft. Criticize the shit out of yourself. Ask people for advice. Move forward. Make your last show, make the next show better than your last show. That's pretty much what I tell people, man. Always go hard at it. Always. But like, when was now you went from, we talked about you loving, hip hop and music and the history of music. We talked about the recording studio. Let's talk about your first performance ever. When was that and where was it?
So my real first show was I actually opened for Afro Man.
Oh wow! So hold on a second. Your first real show. How many performances before this live?
There was only one. There was actually two, but they were just they were very, very small.
You do two small shows, and now you're one of the openers or opening for Afro Man.
Yes, and I was real appreciative for the opportunity because I reached out to the promoters at the Diamond Mine Agency. Yep. And
shout outs to Diamond Mine.
Yeah, we've become extremely close, and I have the deepest respect for their whole team. And when they gave me that first show, it was it was a dream because when I was young and I'd be Colt 45 and 2 zigzags, that was a huge track, and to be able to go and like my first real performance to open up for Afro Man was a dream. That's I guess the best way I could explain it.
Yeah. You know what? I think your good attitude, D, is what takes you a long way, man. You got a really positive mindset. And I think people like the guys from Diamond Mine appreciate that kind of mindset, And I think that's doing really well for you, bro. Keep it up.
Okay, guys, take some advice from D over here. Dante has some advice. He says, I contacted the promoter. Me, when I was managing my artist, it's not funny, man. We're in Kingston. I don't know if you've ever been to Kingston. There's this place called Stages, all right? I find out. Okay, so believe it or not, if I'm 100% right, It might have been almost 20 years ago because Lloyd Banks was on his Canadian tour then. And he's coming to stages. And we kind of end up befriending the manager. And I pull him aside and I was like, yo, we're opening up for Lloyd Banks. And he's like, no, I don't even know how this game works. I don't know about promoters. I don't know about it. Yeah. And I'm literally cornering him in the corner like a bully and be like, oh, this is going to happen. And he's like, I can't. And I was like, yes, you're the boss. Yes, you can. But this is how you do wrong business. And Dante knows how to do right business. That's why he contacted the right people. I bet you I would have made the one right phone call. It would have worked out. It just happened that when you don't know any better, and like I'm telling you, the internet was starting to open up and you don't get those access. You don't think you can just look up. You can't find someone. There's no such thing as Facebook or Instagram back then to be like, I can just send a message. So I just said, fuck it, bully the manager and we're going to get in. And it obviously didn't work, but that was our game plan back then, right? Shut up, James.
Yo, he really had him fucking cornered, bro. I'm not kidding.
It's a true story. I was like, yo, what the fuck's the problem? Like, let us open. Like, what are we asking for here? We're going to bring a nice crew where everyone's going to have some drinks. Or money's going to be made. He's like, I can't. But yeah.
I remember. What I remember the clearest is, what do you mean?
I was upset. But, dude, we've been there before. We're friends with the guy, and I figured this is the guy to talk to. But, no, there's always a promoter backstage or a guy that's running the show. It's just the manager's just hosting the show. It's completely different, right? Hosting the event itself, right? So, but, so when you reached out to him, like, what did you say? Like, was it through an email? Was it a phone call?
I looked up the phone number online, and I just said like a quick text, hey, I'm like an artist from Ottawa, small artist, and I'd love the opportunity to have a chance to open up for this show. I grew up with Afro Man, and I think it would just be such a great experience. And
that's amazing.
Yeah,
I was sitting down. I was at a restaurant, and when they responded and said, that's great, like you have a slot, I was like, damn, I was shocked.
It's like, it can't be this easy. What do you mean you said yes? Yeah, exactly. That's awesome, man.
So, and just from there, it's just been amazing because we've really built a connection, and every opportunity, doesn't matter how big or small, I just want to perform and meet people with the same kind of, drive to have love in our town.
Absolutely. I found when we were growing up, wow, we did have talent here. Remember, James? There was some talent in the city, man. There was. I'm talking about and
at the time we saw a lot of artists. A lot of artists at that time that were local were crossing our paths, whether it was R&B or hip hop, and whether they were working directly with us or they weren't. We were crossing paths with everybody that was doing it.
But do you find, James, that back then, I don't know what it's like now because we're obviously not in the game, but do you find back then there was still too much hate amongst each other? If the city would have got together and community, had a community and actually, threw more shows together, collaborate, do you think it would have been more successful?
From city as a whole, I think the city would have been a lot more on the map for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Found there's too much. I found like it was almost like the show American Idol or one of those shows like only one should win. It felt like it was competing. It was too competitive.
Yeah, man. Where did we do the sound check one time where everybody was at Mansion? Was it not Mansion or what? I forget what it was called at the time, on the corner of Dalhousie and Factory.
Yeah.
And it wasn't on a show that was going down there. There was a bunch of people that were doing sound checks, and a couple guys showed up in bulletproof vests. Remember making some comments?
Okay, but that was kind of pinned. So Dante, what happened is that this one event this guy threw, it wasn't a bad idea. I think you forgot what the format is. It was meant to be a little tense. What it was how they have rap battles? Well, this was more of a performance battle. It was your track versus their track. And then crowds would go on. But then in the community, everyone's chest is bumped up, everyone's ego's extra big, everyone's crew's running up. The idea was good. really fucking failed. Like it wasn't that we were working with each other; it's like everyone competed with each other. That's what went wrong. And then some of them didn't show up. These other guys rolled up in these bulletproof vests. That's when 50 was big and stuff, right? The 50, they came out with the vest, and it was just like it was. In theory, could have been a great show. Could have been great for the audience. But the outcome, brutal. Chess. I think it turned more people into enemies than it did into friends.
Right.
Because we were friends with what's his name, K-Spot.
That's
And
right.
then they pinned us up against each other.
Yeah.
Our friendship's never been the same since, if you actually think about it.
That's right. That's right.
You know, so stuff gets kind of weird in the game. How do you feel when you D, when you meet up with other artists? Do you feel like there's a competitive edge, or do you feel like the community's actually getting together?
From what I've seen,
Yeah.
I would say that there's definitely a lot of potential for that sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a lot of respect for anybody who's trying to pursue and become an artist. I tend to focus on the competition of only going against me.
Yeah.
That's but from what I've seen, there are, of course, people think they're above, you know, and you know, if that's what they want to think, then that's, you know, who am I to say otherwise? But you know, if like you had said, if there was more, if people could come together and actually support each other,
Yep.
you know, Ottawa would have been on the map a long time ago.
Oh yeah, you know what? And we're at fault. We're not. I'm not here to even blame others. We were a part of the problem, I think, back then too.
Do you think, Joe, before our time, they were a little bit tighter, the community, the hip hop? Now I'm talking about the guys like I used to break dance with and stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. What do you think? What was before our time? What would you name local? Like there was Boogaloo Tribe.
Yeah, those exactly.
Okay.
I guess those kind of that era. Now I didn't know too much locally at the time.
I don't think the hip hop scene was as big back then. I think the peak or the starting of the peak was when we owned the studio.
Yeah, that's what.
Because you got to understand that like even the I'm not even saying because hip hop has been around forever, but I mean in our city, I just found it was one of those like there was like every guy you met. Like we owned a music studio, okay? Now everyone freestyled to me like I was a record label. Like it was irritating. Yo, my boy can rap. I'm like, cool. I just you can pay $30 an hour. I don't give a fuck if you can. Like it was one of those everywhere. I went to go shoot some pool. Some guy freestyling in my ear. This guy wants to battle this guy. Everywhere I went, it was so irritating. I was like, guys, I'm not a label. Like I am not. But the peak and the interest of it was to a max. That's what I found. So I found like because you have to look before we got into it. The ones were Boogaloo Tribe that stood out and Half Size Giants.
Yes.
Now there might be others, and I'm not. Oh, there was another crew in the West, and people are gonna be pissed at me for not remembering. But there was another crew back out there.
You're right.
There was another crew, but it was very. You know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, there's no way you're gonna remember. You're smoking weed, bro.
No,
but then there was and then the next big artists, or the two at the time, was still Masari and Belly. Those are the ones that came out, and then again being typical stupid idiots in Ottawa. Half Size Giants and Belly and Masari have to beef each other. By the way, we live in the same fucking section of town.
Neighborhood, yeah.
We mutual friends of mutual friends. Everyone's in it. And like we were saying, if we would have communicated, those two would have just hurting each other, separating it.
Shows, yeah.
They were separating. One guy would wear a fucking Capital Profit shirt. I'd see him get fucking punched in the face. For what? For wearing the shirt? Because he's, it got real nasty at one point, right? Now the violence wasn't as bad as it was when we cut up, but the competitive edge of cutting each other's throat. And that's the things I wanted to ask you. When it comes to production, where do you find your beats? Do you have a guy or is it online?
So for the majority of my tracks, I get them all like online.
See?
And I would say 95% of my songs that I've ever done were all like online, and it might take me 20 beats to find one that I truly love. and I can feel. And I basically would take that beat and I'll go to my studio. I have a friend and he owns a Takika studio, and it's basically inside of the audio valley.
Okay.
And he has like a room, and it's great. You know, we've been recording for like a year or so, and you know, so it's great. But I pretty much get every beat like online.
Now picture this. Okay, you have online. You said you have to go through 20 to find one. Fair, I get it. Back in our day, we had to hunt down a producer.
Bro, we had to put a producer on payroll. Like,
literally, you can't sell a beat to anybody else. Make sure that we get the first dibs on it. Yo, do you know a producer used to lie? No, I don't know any producers. Like, it was like you kept them like an Easter egg. Like, it was like, oh, well, hide them. Like, that's how tough it was back then. Like, it was impossible. Then you'd find another one, and he was amazing. You know, Dan Najram, black DJ. I don't even know. He had a 3-4 different DJ. This guy was so good as a DJ. He won the DMCs without owning equipment. This guy was the most musically talented psycho I ever met in my life. Super sweet guy. But I'm not gonna. I hope he's listening. He's out there. He's in outer space because he's such a genius behind his music that is socially awkward. So if me being a jerk, sometimes I would criticize one of the beats, and then he'd disappear for 2 years after. Like he would be like, he would hide in his room and he would quit. And it's like, bro, you're the best I've ever seen. But you would hide these guys. We didn't have the options of hitting the internet and 3, 4, 5,
selection.
Nothing. It was, and then you find out that the producer that you've been buying shit from has been keeping the fire in his friggin'
it is
in his safe. Right? And you're like, why isn't this out? Why didn't we have that chance? And he'd laugh his head off. But that's what it was like. And it was so tough. But then again, you find out, James, that there was more mixtapes because people were rapping over like other artist beats. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. That's right. More promotional style stuff because beats were so hard to come across.
They're so definitely so hard to come by.
That's right.
Now being an artist, Dante, what's the hardest thing about being an artist today?
Well, it's a great thing to ask, brother. I feel the hardest thing, in my opinion, would be getting exposure. Just because there's 10 other people on the same street as me who are also trying to become like an artist, and you know. There's hundreds of people every single day that are just in the same town doing the exact same thing. And it's like, yeah, our music styles and what we portray as an artist or as like a man, for example, or like a woman or whoever it is, they there's just so much content that, you know, it's hard to be
unique.
Yeah, it's hard to be unique, and
it's hard to be unique. But this is what I see with the music industry today. You come out with something today, right? It shows up, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
and then it gets buried by this guy, that guy, and it just stacks on each other. And then you're over here now. Like, there's too much content for us to grasp what's going on. Because you know, songs or albums used to grow on you, right? You're like, oh fuck, you know, like. Man, you know, the number 5 on that one, it's not their hit single, but man, I love this track because you know it's been in your car, it's been playing. Yeah. That's what I want to ask you. I just know, like, when James brought up, he's like, I bought a tape, we had a tape, or you know, you got some birthday gifts and you played it in your car. That's the only 16 tracks you played for about 3 months straight.
That's right.
I got a playlist on my phone when I go to work. It's in 23 hours. You see what I'm saying with now? You see what I'm saying? It's too accessible for me to actually even give a shit. It's not allowing me to care. I found it just stops you from like, because back when I grew up, there was that, you know, hit jam that summer. If I dropped this track, James would be like, oh my God, you remember when we were over here? Yeah. There's too much content now. There's too much. We are not capturing moments with music anymore. That's what and I could be 100% wrong. That's just my opinion. The last 10 years, there's not a song that comes to my mind and goes, oh, remember that day or that track or that summer? It doesn't exist anymore. It's too fast. So when you mention exposure, I couldn't agree with you more. I find it's to stay on top or to even stay relevant or to even like be like, hey guys, listen to me. It's too fast. I think it's just too much. Where like, what would you? That's what I want to ask you. If there was one thing in the music industry, what would you change about it?
I would change. Well, that's such a, it's definitely a big thing to process. I mean, I've always, so I definitely like being an independent artist, but I've had a goal of going the route of going with like a label and having a team.
Yeah.
Not everyone like agrees with that, and that's cool.
Oh, I'm a record label guy right away. I'm 100%.
I think it's like, for me, yeah, it's extremely important, and I feel like a lot of the labels today don't look at you unless you have like,
you did all the work, all the leg work.
Yeah, and you got to have like big streams, big numbers. So if you don't have, because I've talked to a couple places, I've met with a few like A&Rs from like Atlantic, and I've met with people in the industry. But the big thing is, like they always say, like, your stuff's dope, but your 12 plays that you have on Spotify are not too hot. And I'm like, well, so I guess just to like answer it in a proper way, I would say I would change the fact that the smaller artist doesn't get a chance as much as somebody with 1 million streams. And you know what? I completely understand it, but it doesn't mean that they worked harder on their.
I couldn't agree with you more, man.
Or their product is any better, or
yeah, and that's.
I just find like they don't take the chance. When they're back in the day, you're like, oh, there's something about this guy, I gotta sign him, or there's something, you know what I mean? I love like even what Dre did with M, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
took a blonde guy, blue eyes, white guy, and he's like, fuck it, there's something about him, right? Took the chance on him.
Who never sold, bro. Who failed in trying to sell prior to getting.
So that's my point. Like I find it now today. It's just like, do you ever watch the show The Dragon's Den or the that other? Yeah, okay. They're like you see the greatest invention, and they show it, and they're all impressed, and they go, "How many have you sold?" He's like, "Well, I haven't sold any yet." And they go,
Next.
You're like, hold on a second, because if I sold 1 million of these, I wouldn't be on this goddamn show, dum.
Right.
So if Dante had a friggin' million streams left, right, and center, why would he go to a label? It kind of conflicts the situation of you're successful as an independent artist. So why couldn't these labels come grab, be like, you know what, he can be successful with me behind him.
Yeah,
because he needs a little. Everyone here needs a little help in some area or another. It's nice to have an artist to how do you like to just focus on being an artist and then let the guys do whatever they can behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because as an independent artist now, man, it's everything. I'm an independent podcaster. Everything is done, edited. It's a lot of work. One show is a lot of work. Looks like we have a good time on the show. We absolutely do. But there's work before, there's work during, there's going to be work after. Always is. But I think still, me personally, to be independent, and James, you probably will agree with me with this. I think it was the best era to be independent was still the CD era, when you got to print CDs.
That's right.
Because Dante, picture you at the show. Okay, you're at a show, you got Afro, and then you killed it, and you have a little stand, and you have your 2-3 of your boys there, and you sold, I don't know, 50 CDs, $15 a pop. Bro, that's not a bad night in your own city. You know what I'm saying? Like,
amazing.
And then you're like, fuck it. I'm going to go an hour down. I'm going to try and book a show down in Brockville. And I'm going to go down and go to Gatineau over here. And I'm going to go down. And all of a sudden, you're making $1,000 a week now, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And because the day you bought the CD, those are the times where you put the CD in your car, like James mentioned earlier at the tape, and you listen to the whole goddamn thing without having fucking every song in the palm of your hand. That's where I think the independent artist days were the best.
Yeah.
It was successful or not, there was your own success still. There was still a way of making money, merchandise, CD sales.
A good example of that is Immortal Technique, who's turned down multiple label offers and turned himself into a millionaire as an independent artist.
Exactly. He's probably one of the best guys done if you do it properly. Today, it's, hey man, go on Spotify and listen to my shit, and you get fractions of pennies.
Yeah.
And sure, you'll get thrown onto, you'll be on my playlist, but my playlist also has to play through 20 hours of music before I hit someone. That's the issue that we have. I was trying to build, and I think we should still do this as a community. Maybe we should build an independent playlist, like have just the independents on there, and where they're just sharing it together. And
that's right. Everyone's pushing that.
Exactly. I think that's the little battles that we can win, right?
This guy right here to think of something like that, man. That's good.
It's the little battles, the little battles that you can win. But guys, I would ask you both this question. Past or present, was there ever a rapper, or we'll say a rapper because we're talking about hip hop, that was on the radio or made it big that you said, I don't fucking understand why this person's here? Or why are they successful? Is there anyone that comes to mind? Was there one of those? What the hell? What is this?
Yeah. Some people might disagree with me, but
that's the whole point.
Yeah, it's that group from the west of Canada, and their singer was Macklemore. What was their names again?
You're talking.
They were backed up. They were
Swollen Members.
Swollen Members.
Macklemore's not on Swollen Members.
Oh, my bad, bro. I thought it was the way.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, Swollen Members. You got it, though, man. Them. I thought that they got big. They should have never got big. I didn't think they were good at all.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we have a different opinion on what big was. That's not okay. Sure.
Oh, you meant like big.
Well, I'm just saying. There's someone that you just can't wrap your head around. Like, what the fuck is this? Like
2 Chainz, bro.
Really, 2 Chainz? Okay.
2 Chainz, yeah, man. 2 Chainz. Okay, I didn't know we were going big like that.
I know Swollen Members.
We're keeping it local Canada, but yeah.
I like that one. Don't get me wrong. I saw where you were going with it.
Yeah.
We tried to throw me off of Macklemore, though. But that's a nice try, though.
My bad, bro.
Dante, is there anyone that you it's on I don't know, on a playlist, or you're at a club and you don't want to hate, but you're like, fuck, this guy's not that good. I don't get it. I have that about every artist in the world. Like, I think Taylor Swift's one of those artists for me. Like, I'm just like, I don't get it. Like,
off the top of my head, I'd have to say maybe like, again, I don't want to like to put anyone down, but
no.
I would say, do you guys remember Tekashi?
Yeah. He's been mentioned on the show a few times.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, I got nothing really bad to say about anybody, but from a music standpoint, before I knew like other things about him that came to light, I was never too crazy about that sound or that style of music, but
Yeah, Tekashi was, he's definitely a character. It was definitely a character. It all fell apart, but he's definitely a character. I can't just name a artist. There was just a small area of mumble rap that was fucking making me one of the angriest human beings, that I couldn't believe that this art was going in that direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I grew up with storytellers, and it became this, and I was like, oh my God. And it made me feel old. It made me feel like I was my dad, killing me off when I was, but I was like, there's no way. Like, you talent is talent, and that just was I've come to the conclusion, guys. Tell me if I'm wrong, okay? Think about this. We are now in an era of life where mediocre is super accepted, and it's the best thing ever. Okay?
Popular.
It's very popular, and it's because now people are so tired of cheering for the best, knowing that they'll never be the best. So it's like, fuck it, let's cheer for this shit. Cheer for this singer. Let's cheer for that. Like, they were showing this. I don't even know what it was, like in Sweden or Finland. They were showing like this. I don't know what it was, like a talent show of singers. And this guy came out like an idiot, and he's dressed in underwears, and he blew a firecracker off his dick or something like that, right? And he was in the bottom, but he ended up winning all the votes. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's so stupid that it's like, I can do that. Let's go for it. And that's where I think the world is flipped a little bit.
That's right.
You know what I mean? They're just I don't know.
Nobody more stupid than that guy that went on stage than the people that voted for him.
That's right. Yeah. Opinion, guys. What'd you guys think about the new Houdini track from Eminem?
For me personally, I thought it was good. I think
I was pretty impressed. The video was fucking A1.
The video was great, and I think the flow of the song was just like it was nice to hear, like Eminem spit those kinds of bars, you know.
Yeah.
Like that again. Yeah, like that again. Yeah, I liked it a lot too. Made me feel nostalgic a little bit, and I was always a fan of Eminem's cheesy songs, his radio formula songs. I always liked them. I always thought they were super clever.
Not
And he
me.
did that again this time, and I feel like he hit it on the nail.
This one was phenomenal. The video was phenomenal. Him coming from the
Lyrics.
past. I loved it all. I loved it all.
Yeah. The lyrics are dope. It's really some Eminem bars, like those. That's the Eminem re-up and pre-re-up. That's the type of Eminem bars that you want to hear.
He's the dude that you take a second. There was one guy trying to explain it on a podcast or on a show about the Black Guy Peas, right? And I was like, what the fuck's he talking about? But when I heard M actually rapping it, he's so good at rapping that I didn't have to question what he was rapping about. But I was questioning the guy that was trying to talk about it. I was like, what the fuck's this guy talking about?
Yeah.
That's how good M is. You cannot come close. He's clever as hell. He's smooth.
He's a legend.
Dude, it was
Definitely.
2 weeks. I think it was 8 days or 2 weeks. I looked into it. He was at 76 million streams on YouTube on one video.
Yeah, he's
In
back.
two, I was like, oh my God, like what a monster. What a monster. Brother, I looked through your Instagram. You also opened up for Chaos, right?
I did at the Berlin Club. I did open for Chaos. That was a great night.
Dude, man, how was that, man? That was look like Berlin. You know, it's a small, intimate club, man, but it's done well. Me and James were back there on the 27th, but it's done real well, man. Like, did you have a chance to meet him?
Yeah, I actually we had like a drink after, me and him,
Nice.
and that was great. We took a photo. We talked like a little bit about life, and it was great. I didn't want it to take up too much of.
Yeah, I know.
No, it was definitely a cool experience.
Nice.
Now the next the show I want to talk to you. It was the one we met you at, man. Slick Rick, man. Like,
Yeah.
dude, that was and I don't for poster wise for like actual graphic art poster. I love that one the most. That was my favorite.
Went crazy.
That one was dope, man. So you like how far apart? Those were a couple months apart, right? Chaos and.
I actually opened up. They were only 2 weeks apart.
Wow.
Yeesh.
Okay, they're that close.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Damn, man, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. They were 2 weeks apart, and then I had another show. I think I'm getting the timelines right, but I opened up for Dylan Ponders, who's a Toronto artist,
Mm-hmm.
and me and him talked for like a while. He's really, really nice. Super like artist. Very, very, very good. Just the presence that he had on the stage was awesome, and the conversation that we had was really special too. So
That's
Nice.
dope, man. That's dope.
Cool. You know what? One thing I noticed about you, D, at the Slick Rick concert, you stood out, man, above everybody else. And I find that because we've been around hip hop shows for a bit, and you'll get a lot of guys that I don't know if they are the part, they want to dress the part. Maybe that's how they dress every day. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just how they dress on stage. But bro, you showed up as the classiest person there. You know, you were done up proper. You're dapper. You know what I mean? You had the hair done properly. You had the suit on, and you were down to earth, bro. You were down to earth, and I really like that about you, man. That's a good look. Why? What made you go for the suit that night? You know what I mean? What makes you dress? Do you dress like that at all your shows?
every
Like
show.
dapper and like on point, and as we say in French, sacoche, as we say. You know what I mean? You were on point, man. You were on point that night. You had the look, bro.
Well, I really appreciate that. I've always wanted to. When I was a kid, I used to love to wear suits. And I felt like I kind of took that into me becoming like an artist. So every time I go on stage, I try to wear a suit. And
That's dope, man.
It's,
Unique.
Guys, if you guys weren't there, Dante could have came on stage and got me and James to start mopping. He looked like the boss. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
You'd be like, "Hey, do you guys mind doing it?" We're like, "All right, cool, man." You look like a boss, and it was a good look, man. It was good for you, man. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. Now, do you ever get nervous before performing? What's the butterflies like, man?
my first few shows, I was definitely extremely. I definitely was scared to to go up, and each show, because that was like my 5th show, so in about a year, so
Wow.
that was the first show I actually felt. Obviously, I had nerves, but the nerves weren't like bad. They were actually,
The good nerves, the ones
yeah,
you need.
they were helping me.
That's good. You're gonna need adrenaline. He's excited. Yeah,
They,
yeah.
they were keeping me connected to the goal of just going out there and having fun, like being myself and not trying to portray like anything I'm not, and just realizing that, you know, everybody just wants to have a good time and, you know, listen to songs, and if I can go out there and do the best I can, you know, hopefully that out of anybody in the crowd, if I can make, you know, one person smile or laugh or, you know, do a hand, you know, that I feel good about it, you know. So it's
there's no other high. You must feel it feels great once it's done, eh? Like,
oh
yeah,
What's going on once it's done? Yeah, for sure.
yeah. When I DJ'd a huge crowd, bro, like when you get to DJ and you just shut the music down for like 10 seconds and they're singing the songs and you pop it back on, like once I'm done, I'm like, I can't go to bed right now, man. This is, you know what I mean? It's,
Man.
it's gonna be a late night.
I'm seeing like that too, bro. The crowd was just so engaged, man, and the energy was so high. And for me, I mean, I smoke good weed. I get really high, but nothing that high, man, that you get from that crowd, bro.
It's next level.
Yeah.
So Dante, for people that follow you on Instagram stuff, there was you had another track on there. It was a country style track, man. Can you tell me more about that?
yeah. So I've had a goal of trying to incorporate my hip hop style, but also the country aspect. And
It's good, bro. It's really good. Like,
thank you very much. Thank you.
really
It's called Smoky Mirrors, and I guess I'll tell you like about the song. It basically came to fruition when, so my grandfather passed away in.
Rest in peace.
Thank you so much. Thank you. He, you know, I know like he's always here, and it's been a few years, but when I was a kid, he always had a guitar and he would play it. You know, he would sing songs, and you know, I'd listen for hours and hours, and I wanted to write this song that reflected him, and basically the guitar I use in the video was that exact same one that he would always use.
Oh, dope.
Wow.
Nice.
Smoke and mirrors. Huh? Check out Dante's Instagram, ladies and gentlemen, for that. That's dope, man. Sick backstory to that.
No, it's good. It was cool because I'm going through his Instagram, right? We meet him on the show, right? And I'm checking out his Instagram, and I see him, you know, like a country look. I click on it. I was like, I'm a huge fan of versatility. When people can be versatile, I'm very big on that. And when I clicked on it and I was like, wow, he pulled this one off too. I was like, congrats to you, brother. That was a really good one, man.
Thank you
Now,
so much.
I want to ask you some personal questions just for fun, man. Like, who would you love to open for? If somebody you can get open up for one person, who would it be, man?
That's a great question. If I could just pick one, I would say. Oh man,
He's like, why just one?
That's a good question, though, man.
so yes, it's great. I would say, Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume. I'm going to ask you for your top 5. I'm going to assume that Lil Wayne's on there. So give me another 4. Give me that be a part of your top 5.
Like to open for?
No, your biggest influences in music.
Oh, yeah, my top 5. So Wayne, Drake, Eminem,
That's a beast lineup.
Yeah.
Tupac. And this last one is crazy. I would say, so those are my 4 for sure. And then this last one, I would say probably Biggie Smalls, honestly.
Yeah.
Those are monsters, man. Those are monsters in the game.
Top 10 would be easier, but you know.
I know the 5 is
Top
always hard.
15,
Man.
top 20, yeah.
5 is always hard. That's five. What do you think about the beef between like I don't know, what's it, Kendrick and Drake? Like, is this necessary? What is this? Is this pathetic? Is it lyrically genius? What is it? What is it in your words?
Hey, in my opinion, I think that sometimes, if the beef is coming from a standpoint of the music,
Mm-hmm.
and it stays in that realm, I think it could be healthy for like our culture.
True, true. Usually the
But
best rhymes come out of there. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
but I think
Listeners to the game.
yeah, once it becomes like a where the beef is like violent, people start going after each other. I don't think that's great. I try to lead every day with love. I don't try to act strong or tough or put on like an image. But
Yeah.
in terms of that beef, it I think it has its pros and cons. And
I just figured when you're so successful, both of them, what the hell's the point? Like, it just drives me nuts at this point. You know what I mean? It's like, what's the point?
What is the purpose?
You know, like,
It's
oh,
good.
so and so won. They're both making a killing. They both won. Like, it's a win-win. It doesn't matter at this point.
And how cool would it be if they were giving each other flowers, instead
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah. No,
Instead of-
exactly.
so
Exactly. I don't get me wrong. I don't know what the behind the scenes is. Everyone probably has their own reason. It could be over the world's dumbest thing. It could be legit as hell. We don't know. It's just when I see this today, knowing what hip hop beef has done in the past and how it shouldn't really happen in the future. Like, it should be guided a little bit different these days.
for sure.
That's all
I
I'm
agree.
saying. It should be guided a little bit there. And if coming from two great artists, the best in their generation,
Yeah.
millionaires, super successful, great fan base, what the hell's the point at this point? Like, all they're really doing is dividing other aspects. Like, what I mean, like a fan like LeBron James is probably fans with both of them now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. yeah.
Does he hang out with one and the other one's mad now? Like, you don't know. It's not, people take things differently, right? So it is. But coming up now on Canada Day, you're performing at the Brockton Center. You're opening up for Lloyd Banks, his 20-year anniversary. Man, how did that call? The same. Who was it again? Same promoters. Tell me about that.
The Diamond Mine Agency.
Killing it. Good for them.
I was actually in Spain about 2 weeks ago, and I was at like a songwriters academy, and I was doing some performances out there, and it was really great. And there was one night I was in my room. I was trying to create a song, and then I got a call from Brandon of the Diamond Mine Agency.
Yeah, Brandon's a good dude, man. Yeah.
Shout out to Brandon, man. Shout out to Brandon for sure.
And like he's a king. He's a king. He's been nothing but great to me. And he gave me a text, and he said he got me on the show. And the whole day I was just so happy after that. My mind was just blown. I was like, another one. That's great. I can't ask for any more because
no, you're right.
I'm just so appreciative to be able to live in the present and have such great opportunities and be surrounded by so many good people and good artists.
Now, what's Lloyd Banks? You've been opening up. You opened up for five artists within the last year. You've mentioned. What's your goal? What's the future look for you? What are you planning on doing, brother?
So as an artist, I'd love to be. I'd love to. To be on like a world stage and for everyone to hear my songs. But for me, it's not just about the music. I wanna actually make like a difference in other people's lives. And if I'd say my goal is to be signed, to perform the big stadiums, go on tour. All the biggest things you can think of for an artist. That's what I want. But I'm not chasing the success or the fame. I'm honestly the way I would explain it would be I'm chasing to be in a place where I could help others. And that's kind of what really keeps me in tune with realizing that I don't need to have I don't need to be the best at something, but I just need to take myself to a place where I can go and actually help other people become the best versions of them, because I feel like, I'm just one man. I want to I want to express with my music, and I want to do everything, but that it doesn't drive me to be successful in that aspect. I feel like a truly successful person is one that gives back to others,
Always, yeah. Yep.
in any form. It doesn't have to be, in a way of material things,
materialistic or money or something.
Yeah, I'd like to be in a place where I could have a conversation with somebody that would actually mean something, and if I'm at the top of a certain industry, say it's music, which I hope it is, I just want people to know that I would never look down, because I do it because I love it, and it makes me feel great. It's and I just hope to inspire others. So it's great to chase all these things, but I'm chasing a way to help others. That's my goal.
Well, you're on the right track, man. You're on the right track. Keep up with that attitude, bro, and you're heading the right way. That's for sure.
Yeah, Dante, man, that's the positive note. If anyone wants to hate on you, it's ridiculous. You're too positive. You're super respectful. No one should be able to even say something bad about you as a human being. And you know what? You're putting the work in. You're doing the shows. You're killing it. Obviously, if you were terrible, do you think Brandon would call you back for another show? Let's be real. Like that's just a realist. Being real as fuck, man. He wouldn't be calling you back. He'd be like, let's get someone else. No, you're killing it, man. Everyone, please, you can grab your ticket. What is it at Eventbrite? Is that what it is?
Actually, these tickets I have are hard copies. So if you want a ticket,
I have your link. I have your Instagram link in the description in the bottom of the video.
That's perfect. You can send me a message on there if you want a ticket, and
Lloyd Banks. That show's gonna be dope, man. It's a good way to start Canada Day. It ends probably around 10:30, 11. You still have a whole night ahead of you after Lloyd Banks. That's a good way to start a party. I'll tell you that right now, man.
Sick venue.
I know, super impressed with the Bronson Center. I thought I'd been in there before. I guess I haven't. You said the same thing, James?
Yeah, that's right.
And when I walked in there, man, it was it's a nice venue. It's definitely going to be a good party. I'm going to try and definitely show up. Canada's a little tough, but I might just jump into Elon's back seat and see where it leads me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big shout out to my boy Elon, bro. He's going to be DJing that night, man.
Yeah.
Dante, man, thank you for taking your time, man, and talking to us, bro. We're a fan, man. We're a fan of you as a human being, fan of you as an artist, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. You're now a part of the Live at the Mic podcast family. Whatever you need us to do, help you promote yourselves, man. We're definitely be a part of it, man.
Yeah, it'll be a pleasure.
Thank you guys very much for the kindness, the conversation, and the love. I it means everything, and to have you two in my life is just it's extremely special. So
much appreciated, man. It's our pleasure too, bro. Guys, we're just gonna end this with a quick commercial of our next event of me and James. Me and James are gonna be at Berlin on July 27th, Saturday. Deuce, DJ Juice, that's me. Back out of retirement. James actually was in my ear to get me out of retirement because James wants to MC next to me again.
Yes.
Can't say no to James too many times, So we'll drop that, guys. Thanks for listening to the show, Dante. Much love, bro. Kill it on July 1st. James, I'll be stuck seeing you again, bro. Peace.
Later.
6-1 Entertainment is having a 20th anniversary old school hip-hop party on Saturday, July 27th at 56 Byward at Berlin Nightclub. Free cover till 11:30 p.m. and door prizes for the first 40 people. Hosted by MC Jam EZ with DJ 1UP and DJ Deuce. Sponsored by Live on the Mic podcast.